Welcome back, everyone, to Coach to You. I am your host, Coach Regina, and I am back with another video topic. Today, we will be talking about building resiliency. And I want you guys to kind of think for a moment when we think about resiliency, what that means to you, okay? So, in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and just get started. And what I want to do is give my disclaimer first. And then I want you to follow me to the end, guys, because I believe this video is going to be very helpful, okay? All right, so although I'm a student of psychology, I'm not a licensed health professional. All content and information on this channel stems from my own personal experience and extensive research, and is for informational and educational purposes only, and should not be considered professional medical advice. If you feel you have a mental health condition, seek the guidance of a medical professional. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and jump in. Again, I want you to just take a moment to kind of mull over, if you will, the aspect of building resiliency and like what does that mean to you, okay? So it's a very fascinating topic, okay? For essentially building resiliency is a skill that enables us to kind of navigate life's challenges with less difficulty, if you will. It stems from us being able to have strength, grace, and a inner conviction that regardless of what you're going through, you realize that you're going to rise above this, okay? Resiliency is more than just bouncing back from adversity. It is about growing through the experience and emerging stronger than you were before. In order for you to do that, you have to realize that the understanding behind circumstances from the beginning. If you have a mindset that indicates that, you're a victim and that, life is happening to you rather than through you, then it's going to be hard to adapt resiliency because at that point we develop what we call a victimizing mindset. And one thing about victimization is that if you're a victim, you're not in charge of your circumstances, okay? And you leaving your circumstances over to external factors, okay? So when we understand that if we change our mindset surrounding adversity and why things are occurring out in our life, we gain an upper hand because mindset precedes your interactions. Take, for example, you have the mindset that you're going to go to a fast food restaurant and you go here quite often, and every time you go there, they mess up your food. So you have now developed a internal mechanism of thinking that says that no matter what, you go to this place, your food is going to be messed up. And sure enough, you pull through the drive-thru, you order your meal, and before long, you get your food and you realize they screwed it up. We don't know that oftentimes our bodies are responding to that state of thinking, okay? So that precedes your actions, your feelings, your thoughts, all of them go hand in hand when it comes to you experiencing your life's difficulties, right? Take, for example, someone who, on the contrast of that, who goes through a similar situation, but they love to eat out. Fast food is their thing. I'm just being transparent here. But they're bubbly, they're carefree, and they just realize that they're always going to get a good meal when they go to this fast food restaurant. So they go in and they have a completely different experience than you do. What's the difference? The person in the drive-thru, let me give you this now, they also messed up their food too. The person said no tomatoes. This person hates tomatoes, but the individual put tomatoes on there. The individual decided that they were going to go in and communicate with the person that you put tomatoes on my meal and I don't eat tomatoes. The people offered to remake the meal. They give the food back. The food no longer has tomatoes. But the manager actually says, hi, let me give you a gift card for $10 and we'll actually comp the meal for this experience that you had today. The old saying is that you can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. That's a true statement. Like, if you approach people with a hostile and very negative demeanor, you're putting off an aura that it has an aspect of mirroring that back to you. Okay? So this person may have been having a very, simple day, but when you come about and your energy is already negative and predisposed to be in conflict with something or someone, that person can then begin to pick up that energy and in return mirror it back to you. Okay? So again, one aspect of building a resiliency is developing a positive mindset, a mindset that understands that no matter what happens, everything is working together for my good. Life is not happening to me, it's happening for me. Okay? It's essential to cultivate this perspective because it focuses on opportunities rather than obstacles. Because attention goes where energy flows, and vice versa. When you have a attention span of negative opportunities, negative obstacles, you are basically putting yourself in a lose-lose situation. Whereas you look at the other aspect of it as this opportunity is this obstacle is an opportunity for me to learn something from it. You know what? I'm gonna take it with ease. It doesn't mean that that's gonna happen all the time. Sometimes it's not how you show up, it's how you leave. You know, when you come to a situation and you begin to think and process things from another perspective or a better state of mind, you can actually change the dynamic of a situation. This particular mindset and shift in mindset can actually influence how we respond to difficulties, and is basically our fundamental aspect of building resilience. That's the fundamental part. How you think that's the fundamental part of being able to understand how you can be able to navigate life's difficulties. Now, I want you to understand here, okay? You know, I'm very transparent on my podcast. I understand that life is going to throw things at you. And if you are already adept to thinking in a negative span based off of where you come from, your environment, maybe your parents thought like that, I understand that it's not going to be easy to develop a carefree attitude in the midst of adversities. Mindset shift is like a muscle. It has to be exercised. You have to consciously choose to think thoughts in opposition to your current state. With practice and over time, you'll begin to develop a different thought process that'll be above your baseline resonance of thinking or being. Okay? So that's my transparency in that, okay? Another critical component of resiliency is emotional regulation. Are you someone that likes to pop off? Being able to manage our emotions effectively allows us to maintain clarity and focus during stressful situations. That in itself is very crucial, guys, because when you're in a heated or stressful event, people oftentimes they check out. Their mind becomes fogged because you're being dumped with extreme amounts of cortisol in the brain. And once that state begins to become heightened and you're aroused, it's really hard to come back from that without calming down. You have to be able to take deep breaths, recognize what your situation is, kind of examine your surroundings, realize that this is not a threat, even if I perceive it to be. Reframing that situation, it goes back to what I just mentioned about having a positive mindset. Reframing that situation is also crucial to being able to recognize what's happening at that particular moment, okay? In order to maintain a mindset of clarity, you have to be able to allow your mind to see things from a different perspective. It's about processing things from a place of how do I want this situation to end? That's what it's about. When you are in a heated situation, if the ego is involved, the ego wants resolution. Let me say that. But if you can breathe and process things from a place of humility, what is your end result? If it's a friendship, or if it's your favorite dining place that you like to eat and you have a moment and you pop off, if you will, what is the end result? Do you not want to be able to come back to that place again? Because most likely that's what's going to happen, okay? Your friendship or your family member, if you attack them verbally or mentally in some regard, you may not talk to them for a while. So you have to be able to ask yourself, what is the end result of any given situation? Is it the need for me to be right? Is that the end goal? Because a lot of times, if you can really process it, just take a moment, the ego needs to be right. It needs to feel safe and it needs to be validated. But if you look at it from a perspective of emotional resiliency, you can look at it from, at the end of the day, I just want to be safe. I want to be safe and I want this person to be okay. Whatever the conflict is, we can resolve it from a clear head at a later date. And when you can process things from that perspective, you're on the fast track to being able to build resiliency. Okay? Resiliency involves building strong connections. Okay? Couple that with emotional regulations, people just generally want to be around you. Having a supportive network of like-minded individuals that are also positive, friends, family, colleagues, that collectiveness can provide encouragement and guidance that you need to overcome tough times. Being able to pick up the phone and call someone when you're going through something, that's a good gift to have, okay? Versus feeling trapped, isolated, and alone. These particular relationships offer a sense of belonging, and they reinforce the idea that we are not alone in our struggles. If you research Maslow's hierarchy of needs, a need to belong and a need for acceptance are a part of that pyramid. Okay, so it's a normal thing to want to feel like you belong to something, versus the other aspect of it is feeling like you are alone, rather than feeling together or connected. I'm sorry. So another aspect of it is resiliency is closely linked to adaptability. Being able to adapt to new circumstances and embrace change is also a part of how you build resiliency. If you're a type of person that has to be tossed to and fro and emotionally shook up, or internally shook up by every time there's a change, it's really going to be hard to build resiliency in that, because at the end of the day, the internal state of being is your overall goal. Do I feel well? Do I feel whole? And if you cannot adapt to your circumstances, you're going to feel misaligned. You're going to feel shooken up. You're going to feel jolted at times. And that in itself can be hard. When we're flexible and allowing our adaptability to stance, we approach problems with a creative mindset and we find innovative solutions. By being able to practice adaptability, we become more equipped to handling unexpected changes. I like the part about the creative mindset, because if you know that, let me give you an example for a real life situation. If you have to move soon, rather than uh, looking at all the negativity associated with moving, what if you decide to adapt, to accomplish your goal by embracing adaptability, and say, you know what, I'm gonna get boxes today. I'm gonna get boxes, and I'm actually gonna pack up and get, some things, thrown away that I really don't need. You have literally just changed the dynamic of that situation of feeling stressful, uncertain, and all these different other emotions that come up when we don't feel safe. You literally changed the whole dynamic. And basically, from the mirror perspective, is that the universe mirrors back to you that most dominant feeling that you have within. So if you are feeling that inner sense of adaptability, calm, ease, and so forth, then you are on a fast track with the other aspects that I gave you with being able to build resiliency. Okay? Understanding that resiliency is about maintaining a sense of purpose. When you have clear goals in mind and you envision the future that life affords you, then you're able to preserve yourself through setbacks, rather than continuously allowing yourself to fluctuate emotionally, energetically, and mentally with every care and calamity that occurs. You're able to take it from a new perspective of everything is working together for my highest good. Give yourself affirmative affirmations, such as the universe guides me. I am supported. I have everything I need. I find it easy to push forward despite adversities. I started to do this, guys, a few months ago, because I would notice intrusive thoughts. That was very, very problematic. Excuse me. I told myself, I don't want to think like this anymore. But because I had thought like that for so long, that became my dominant state of thinking. Okay, so what I did was I decided to try it. I decided to begin to appropriate more positive statements about myself, my affirmations. I just would affirm, I am happy. All is well in my world. I find it easy to overcome adversity. Life just naturally works itself out for me. And I would just affirm these things just all throughout the day. I would just have these affirmative moments whenever intrusive thoughts would come. And guys, let me tell you, the thoughts just faded. What happened? What happened? I decided to change the way I was thinking by realizing that this who I am is not who I choose to be. And at any moment, my state of being can change based off of me consciously choosing another thought. Day in and day out, I started to appropriate it, and I noticed a change in my thoughts. I felt more happy, I felt more calm, I felt more at ease. And my spouse, he approached me and he asked me, he was like, he said, I want to ask you a question. And I was like, okay, go ahead. He said, I find myself experiencing highs and lows, and I want to know how you're able to kind of keep that flow state about you in turn, feeling happy and things like that. And I was shocked. I was shocked because he's a very reserved person. He really don't communicate about those things that he struggled with and so forth. So I was actually obliged. I was like, okay, this is an opportunity for me to showcase everything that I've been learning. Okay, and so I began to share with him that first I consciously chose to change my way of thinking. I realized that the way I was talking to myself and those intrusive thoughts were not benefiting me. So if I made a conscious decision to put appropriating affirmations, how would that feel? And it did. It worked. I was taken aback. And I told him that I consciously chose, and that's what I did. That's the first thing I did. Secondly, I chose affirmations that were true to me, that really resonated with me as a person. That if I had everything that I desired today, what would that person think like? What would that person feel like? And because of it, I began to say and those things, and that is how it became real for me. Okay. So today, guys, we talked about building resilience. Okay, and so building resiliency. I hope that you guys got a chance to get a lot of tips for that. I went over a little bit more than I generally want to go over, but I'm going to give you a little bit of around 8 strategies to help you develop resiliency. Okay. So again, cultivating a growth mindset. Embrace the belief that challenges and opportunities are for your personal growth and learning, and that no one's against you, and life is happening to you, not for you. Strengthen emotional regulation. Practices such as mindfulness, deep breathing, taking a calm and focused approach in stressful situations can, instead of reacting impulsively, helps you to regulate your emotions effectively. Okay. Number 3 was building a supportive network. Surround yourself with positive, like-minded individuals that can encourage you and give you guidance when you're feeling low. Okay. Number 4 was enhance problem-solving skills. So being able to change the natural aspect of it and look at it from a spiritual perspective to understand that life's adversities is a part of life. Okay. And if I embrace and enhance my problem solving skills, then I build the resiliency necessary to overcome life's difficulties. The other one was flexibility and adaptability. Being able to be adaptable and learning to accept challenges as a natural part of life. and be willing to adjust your plans as necessary. Okay. Number 6 is foster a sense of purpose, understanding that you have a purpose in life, okay, and that whatever you're going through, essentially, these experiences are not meant to harm you. You're not going to get anything that is so difficult that is not in relation to your purpose. And when you can develop that, you can realize that the universe is not trying to kill you. The creator is not trying to kill you. Everything that is you're dealt is in relation to you becoming a better person, and that if you realize it from that sense of purpose perspective, you can understand that, you know what do I need to learn from this so that I can gain my soul's correction and I don't have to endure it anymore. Now it becomes an opportunity for growth. Okay, learning from experiences is key, and being able to practice self-care. You need to realize that you matter. Okay, building that sense of calm by affirming to yourself, telling yourself positive statements, loving kindness, affirmations, things like that. This is crucial for you being able to change the way you think. Okay, the brain it has neuroplasticity, so it has the ability to heal itself and to rewire itself based off of the information you feed it. If you feed yourself positive information, then your brain has the ability to pick up for that. Look for parts in your subconscious brain that aligns with it and help you create the reality you want. That's also the same. If you have a lot of negativity, a lot of anger, a lot of hurt, a lot of unresolved trauma lodged there in your subconscious mind, then your brain also has the ability to pick up that information. And again, according to the mirror perspective, it can mirror those things back to you based off of your energy that you put out into the universe. It's up to us to change the way we think, and we need to do so consciously. No one should have to force us to wake up, spend time meditating, quieting ourselves, going out into the world, practicing loving kindness and happiness towards others. No one should have to force us to do that. If you want different results in life, then you have to produce a different outcome for yourself. My name is Coach Regina. I want to thank you guys for watching. I appreciate your time.